Hi y'all, I'm Allison. I did it. I survived the Magical Readathon. I got all the way to the end while time blocking all of my reading for it. So today we're going to go over my grades, how it went overall, and we'll run through some stats on the books, the ratings that I gave them, which ones ended up being my favorites, which ones weren't, all of that fun little book stuff. Let's go ahead and start with the report card because it finally came in. As a reminder, the grading scale was I got 70 points if I completed the book, read it before my exam date, and then an additional 10 points if I went to G's Google Drive, filled out her form, and registered it. So my guild, Order of the Crescent, would get credit for those pages. And then another 20 points if I got it reviewed by my exam date on Storygraph and Goodreads. So all of those added up, of course, is 100. I added the 10 points for registering with G's because I forgot all about it in the spring. So I'm glad I had that reminder because I did register everything. So my guild got credit for all of my pages. So let's see what grades I ended up with. First class is Animal Studies, and I got 100. I read Harry Potter and the Chamber of Secrets, got it registered and reviewed online. So that was an A. Shapeshifting, I read Abraham Lincoln and Vampire Slayer, and I also got the full 100 there. So another A. Elemental Studies, this is the one I was the most worried about because it's my major. And it had 3 books, so I had to finish all of them. Starting with Madhouse at the End of the Earth, I got 100. Then there was Thunderhead. Finished this one as well, another full 100. And the last class was Spineless. That's right, I got 100. I did everything for my major, so there's another 100 on board. For astronomy, I only had 1 book, and that was Hotel by Arthur Haley, and I got 100. I finished that one as well. My last core subject, the main one, was Restoration, and I had 2 books for this one. It's another class that I was quite nervous about. So the first book was When Night Breaks. I completed this one, did everything, so that's another 100. And the second book was This Rebel Heart. This one, I failed. I did not finish this book. In fact, I only got 33% of it read. So this one requires some math. 33% of the 70 points that I could have gotten for reading this book comes up to be, I got a lot of 23 points for this book. But luckily, this class had 2 books, so I get to average the 100 that I got with the 23, and it gives me a 61 for the class average. Yeah, ruined my straight A's. So close. Now, I also did all of the electives that were on offer, and there were 4 of them. So let's run through those and see what grades I got on those. First up, we had Apothecary Keeper. And for that, I read Maze Runner, did everything. I got the full 100. And my second book was The Secret Life of Sparrow Delaney. Once again, aced it, got the full 100. Bog Cataloger, impossible. This one, I actually DNF'd. There was only 1 book needed for this class, but I could not get through it. I stopped. Took a little time penalty and replaced it with Lullaby, which I did manage to read before time was up. So I got 100 in that class. It worked out in the long run, and I was so glad I dropped that class. For a dragon riding, I did a Map Maker, got the full 100, and I also did House of Dragons. Again, another 100. Then there was 1 more class, and that was Sandship Engineer. I started with Sahara, aced it, got the full points for this one, and unfortunately did not finish Red Pyramid. I got really close though. I got 86% of the way through on this book. 86% of the 70 points I could have gotten, it gives me 60. So since there were 2, I get to add them together. 100 plus a 60 for this would give me an average of an 80. Still a respectable grade. It's a B. Okay, so once we add them all up, I ended up with a 93.4. So I got a 93 as my final grade. I don't know what that would translate into a GPA. 3.9, 3.9, no clue. Which is a minus. I think that's pretty good for 15 books in a very, very busy month. because not only was I reading these all following the schedule, but I also managed to keep up with the videos. I was putting out a video every other day. So yeah, I had quite an eventful month. Now, those 2 books that I didn't finish in time to get my full A, I did finish before the month was out. So I was able to register those with G, and Order of the Crescent got credit for all of my reading. So let's look at some final stats. See how many pages I actually read for this thing. I know it was 15 books, but let's count up the pages. All right, so I did the math, and by the end of all of my exams, I read 5,202 pages. Then when you add in the pages for Red Pyramid and This Rebel Heart, which I finished before the month was up, that brings it to a total of 5,565 pages. A nice little boost for Order of the Crescent, I think. So in addition to all the books for the Magical Readathon, I read more. I had a total of 23 books read in the month of August. They were The Outsiders, A Caribbean Mystery, At Bertram's Hotel, 1776, Cross My Heart and Hope to Spy, Vera Wong's Unsolicited Advice for Murderers, Storm, To the Nines, and that was it. So 23 books for the month, with a grand total of 8,435 pages. I was a busy little bee. So it's amazing how much time blocking kind of structures my day for me. I got a lot of reading done in the morning that I normally don't do, and I learned I can read in the morning without it derailing my whole day, as long as I have a cutoff time. I think that was the key. So, I finished it, and when September hit, the first day was good. September 1st, I was like, but then I kind of missed it. I liked the challenge of it all. Once my brain kind of relaxed a little bit, I was sitting around going, now what? Although editing kept me very busy. Today is the 9th, and got the last of the videos edited. They just, I think, like 2 more plus this one. And it's been an all-consuming project, but it was so much fun. And I think the Fate deck, I loved that aspect. It kept it interesting and fun for me. Every morning I was like, okay, what's the Fate deck going to do? And I'm really glad I added that. I basically did that because I was afraid the videos would kind of get repetitive. If I was like, oh, I read blah, blah pages today, read blah, blah, blah. So I thought this might kind of add some variety to it. And I think it went even better than I hoped for. I had so much fun with that Fate deck. We will definitely keep that around, and I will be doing that again. It was fun. Speaking of fun, I had a bunch of 5-star reads. Let me show you which ones were my favorites. I loved starting my day with this gorgeous edition. So I am in love with Jim Kay's work. Sahara and Maze Runner were both 5-star rereads for me. Just as much fun the second time, or third or fourth. Hotel was just another one I absolutely loved. Not to be outdone by Thunderhead and House of Dragons. These 2 are going to be the favorites of the month. I don't know that I could choose between them. They're both spectacular. And I also gave A Spineless a 5 stars. Love this. If you like middle grade, great little adventure story. So good. And since I also included books that I read outside of class, I had a more 5-star reads. That was The Outsiders. Love it. Cross My Heart and Hope to Spy was a good, fun time. And I really enjoyed the nonfiction 1776. This was really good. My last 5-star read of the month was Jessie Q. Sutanto's Vera Wong's Unsolicited Advice for Murderers. If there's one character I would want in my real life, it would be our main character, Vera, from this book. Loved her. If there's one character that I would be really intimidated to have in my real life, it would be Vera from... I loved her. She is a force of nature. So while I did have an excellent reading month, I also had a couple of clunkers, as you probably know, which was Impossible, a DNF this one, And this Rebel Heart, I ended up giving 2 stars, maybe 2.5. Just not for me. And this one angered me on so many levels. In fact, there is a video on this. If you missed it, I will put a little card for it. So yeah, this was so much fun. I also heard from Nosilla. She got her report card. She aced all of her classes. She did really good. And she was top of her class in dragon riding. I'm still a little nervous at the thought of her and Fenris on the back of a dragon, but you know, there are just some things you just turn a blind eye to and cross your fingers and hope it turns out okay. And this is one of those scenarios. Now, Nosilla told me she is elected to stay on at Orilium for 1 more month before she begins adventuring off into the unknown, because she wants to sign up for an advanced inscription class. And for that, I will be reading Ninth House for Dark Academia. This will be one of my extras for September. Also, I think she has some ulterior motives for staying behind, because she said the last day of school, she found something extra slid under her door. Our conversation got interrupted because Fenris apparently was running off with her roommate's shoe down the hall and she had to go catch him. But she mentioned something about demonology summoning. So I don't know what she's got up her sleeve. I should hear from her later and we'll find out about that. That's right. I'm hoping to do that challenge during September. We'll see how it goes. So I had an absolute blast with this readathon. The time scheduling and the fake cards. Even the days where I felt like my brain was melting. It was such a good, challenging challenge. And I cannot wait for April to do it again. I'm a little lost now that it's September and it's over. You know, it's weird not having to consult a schedule and worry about how I'm going to fit everything into the day, because things have smoothed back out again. I haven't read anything since September 1st. I was getting all of my videos done and I wanted to make sure I kept all of this information fresh so I could share it with y'all. I didn't want to clog up my brain with new information from reading books. And in that downtime, my little brain went running rampant. And while I'm standing here at the train station with all this baggage from the Magical Readathon, it has hopped on that train and gone careening down the tracks with all new ideas. And I'm a little scared but excited, because I think I've got some fun things that I might be able to put together for y'all. And, you know, time blocking might be involved in there. And there's one that I've been, you know, working out since, I want to say April. So I think that video will be coming soon. That one's going to be reliant on y'all a lot, so we will see. I don't know. What I do want to know is, for everybody who tried the time blocking for the first time, how did it go for you? Did you finish your books? Did you enjoy it, or was it just a little too chaotic for you? I haven't had time to watch anybody's videos. I really hope I can get to them, because I want to know how it went. Because, you know, there might be an opportunity to do it again soon. We will see. And I don't, at the moment, I can't remember what all I have planned for the book. Oh, there's going to be, I think, a book haul and an unhaul coming up soon. So we still have stuff going on this month before we get to spooky season. So yeah, just a minute, we'll be back with Halloween theme, which is always a fun one. All right, I think I have rambled on long enough. I hope to see y'all very, very soon, and happy fall, y'all.